The massive starship hung in Earth's orbit like a predatory whale, its metallic surface gleaming against the deep darkness of space. Commander J. Park stood at the observation deck of the International Space Defense Station, his hands clasped. Behind his back, watching the alien vessel with calm precision, the communication system crackled to life. A holographic projection materialized. A tall, slender creature with iridescent skin and 4 elongated fingers. This was Corial Vex, representative of the Intergalactic Council, whose voice carried an unmistakable tone of absolute certainty. "Inhabitants of Earth," the alien began, "we have reviewed your civilization's technological capabilities. Your defenses are primitive. Your resources are limited. Surrender is the most logical course of action." The communication room remained silent. Technicians and military personnel exchanged quick glances, waiting for their commander's response. J. Park didn't move. He simply observed the holographic projection with steady eyes. Around him, Earth's defense systems hummed with quiet energy. Satellites positioned strategically, advanced radar networks and orbital defense platforms stood ready, not in aggression, but in calm preparedness. Corial Vex continued, unaware of the subtle tension building in the room. "We offer standard integration protocols. Your population will be relocated. Your planetary resources will be systematically harvested. Resistance is mathematically improbable." A soft chuckle escaped J. Park's lips. It was not a laugh of mockery, but of genuine amusement. The alien's projection flickered slightly, sensing an unexpected emotional response. "No," Jay said simply. The word hung in the air, devoid of drama but filled with complete determination. The alien's holographic form seemed to pause, its multiple eyes blinking in rapid succession, a gesture that suggested confusion. "Clarify. Your response. Did you comprehend our communication?" "Perfectly," Jay responded. "We understand completely. Our answer remains no." In that moment, something fundamental shifted. The alien could not process this response. Every other civilization in the Intergalactic Council's historical records had either immediately surrendered or shown measurable signs of panic. Humans were doing neither. Elena Rodriguez, the lead science coordinator, stepped forward. Her tablet displayed complex mathematical models and strategic projections. "Our analysis suggests multiple defensive and offensive strategies," she said calmly. "Would you like me to elaborate?" Corial Vex's hologram flickered again, processing this unexpected development. The creature's communication algorithms were designed for submission, not negotiation. Outside, Earth's atmosphere sparkled with a strange energy. Defensive satellites adjusted their positions almost imperceptibly. Underground research facilities hummed with activity. Millions of humans, unaware of the conversation happening above their planet, continued their daily lives. Sung Kim, the military strategist, approached the communication console. "Our preliminary tactical assessment is complete," he stated, his voice steady. "We are prepared for any potential engagement." The alien's holographic representation seemed to shrink slightly, a subconscious gesture of uncertainty. For the first time in the Intergalactic Council's extensive history, a potential target was not displaying fear, confusion, or desperation. J. Park stepped closer to the communication system. "We understand your proposal," he said. "We reject it completely. Earth is not available for conquest." The communication room filled with a strange, electric silence. Technicians watched the interaction with a mix of professional calm and underlying excitement. They were witnessing something unprecedented. Corial Vex's hologram began to destabilize, processing patterns that violated every known diplomatic protocol. The alien's communication system was struggling to interpret the human response. "Recalculating," the alien finally said, its voice momentarily losing its earlier confidence. J. Park simply smiled, a smile that spoke of patience, preparedness, and an unshakable resolve. First contact was not going as the Intergalactic Council had predicted, and that perhaps was humanity's first victory. The first alien assault wave arrived with thunderous precision. Massive dropships descended through Earth's atmosphere, their metallic surfaces gleaming like razor-sharp blades cutting through clouds. Coriel Vex had expected a quick surgical strike that would demonstrate the Intergalactic Council's overwhelming technological superiority. What happened next was anything but predictable. Sung Kim watched the initial invasion coordinates from the Underground Defense Command Center. His fingers danced across holographic displays, tracking alien movement with calculated intensity. The alien ships followed perfect geometric patterns, exactly what military strategists would expect from a technologically advanced civilization. Humans, however, were anything but predictable. In Chicago, the first alien ground units discovered something unusual. Urban infrastructure became an unexpected weapon. Street networks transformed into complex labyrinths. Skyscrapers weren't just buildings, they became potential defensive positions. Subway tunnels, electrical grids, and communication networks became improvised battle platforms. An alien combat unit approached a seemingly abandoned industrial complex. Their advanced sensors detected no immediate threats. Suddenly, electromagnetic pulse generators hidden within old machinery activated. The alien weapon systems went dark. Mechanical equipment designed decades ago became instant defensive technology. "Commander," J. Park's voice crackled through communication channels. "Adaptive response protocols activated," he announced calmly. "No panic, no fear, just a strategic instruction." In Los Angeles, robotic construction equipment suddenly became makeshift combat vehicles. Cranes lifted massive concrete barriers. Autonomous construction robots were quickly reprogrammed into defensive units. The aliens discovered that human technology wasn't just about advanced weaponry, it was about creative adaptation. Hyun Lee, the technology specialist, had prepared for this moment. Her team had developed rapid response algorithms that could transform civilian infrastructure into defensive systems within minutes. What the aliens saw as a weakness, humanity's diverse, sometimes chaotic technological landscape, became an unpredictable strength. Alien ground units found themselves fighting not just human soldiers but an entire adaptive ecosystem. Streets changed. Buildings reconfigured. Communication networks redirected themselves faster than the invaders could calculate. In rural areas, farmers became unexpected combatants. Agricultural equipment became weapon platforms. Tractors with modified harvesting attachments became mobile defense units. Satellite communication systems originally designed for crop monitoring now tracked alien movement with precision. Coriel Vex watched the battle reports with increasing confusion. Mathematical models predicted total human surrender within hours. But hours passed and human resistance not only continued, it evolved. An alien commander reported strange phenomenon. "The humans are not following standard combat protocols," the report read. "They are improvising." Improvisation was not in the alien tactical dictionary. Their entire military strategy relied on predictable responses, calculated movements, and overwhelming technological superiority. Humans introduced chaos into every strategic equation. In the Pacific Ocean, naval vessels used underwater terrain as dynamic battle platforms. Submarines became mobile defensive units that disappeared and reappeared unpredictably. Ocean currents and marine geography became tactical advantages. Elena Rodriguez monitored global communication networks. She wasn't just tracking the conflict, she was helping coordinate a planet-wide real-time adaptive response. Every city, every region became a potential battlefield, with humans transforming their environment into a living, breathing defensive mechanism. The aliens had expected a quick conquest. Instead, they found themselves fighting an entire planet that refused to be a passive target. Alien ships in orbit began to recalculate. Their advanced targeting systems struggled to process the continuous changes happening on the planet's surface. Humans weren't just defending, they were constantly reimagining defense. As the first day of conflict concluded, something became clear. This was not going to be the quick victory the Intergalactic Council had anticipated. Humanity had turned an invasion into an opportunity for collective creative resistance. J. Park looked at the global tactical display. Challenges were everywhere, but so were possibilities, and humanity, as always, was ready to transform challenges into opportunities. The initial conflict had begun, and nothing was going according to the aliens' plan. The alien psychological warfare team believed they understood human behavior. They had analyzed countless civilizations, developed complex algorithms to predict emotional responses, and strategized invasion protocols based on mathematical certainties. They were about to learn how wrong they could be. Elena Rodriguez sat in a secure research facility, studying historical human records. She wasn't just looking at military strategies. She was examining something far more complex: human resilience. The alien communication team broadcasted what they believed were devastating psychological messages. Images of planetary destruction, simulations of complete human extinction, statistical models showing the impossibility of resistance. Humans responded with something unexpected: determination. Social media platforms, instead of showing fear, erupted with memes, jokes, and collective solidarity. People weren't panicking, they were organizing. Every alien psychological attack became fuel for human unity. In Tokyo, citizens transformed air raid shelters into community centers. In Rio de Janeiro, local musicians created resistance songs. In Moscow, engineering students developed improvised defense technologies. The aliens discovered something terrifying. Human culture itself was a weapon. Coriol Vex reviewed psychological impact reports with increasing frustration. Standard invasion protocols suggested that by this point the human population should have been experiencing mass psychological breakdown. Instead, they were experiencing mass mobilization. Young students in universities developed communication networks faster than alien intelligence could track. Online platforms became rapid information exchange systems. What the aliens saw as potential weakness, human digital connectivity, became an unprecedented strength. The alien psychological warfare team made a critical mistake. They understood technology, they understood military strategy, but they didn't understand human spirit. Historical records became critical. Humans had survived world wars, economic collapses, pandemics, and environmental challenges. Each historical trauma hadn't broken them, it had made them stronger. Sung Kim analyzed psychological response patterns. Humans didn't just resist, they transformed resistance into a cultural experience. Fear was being converted into collective action with remarkable speed. Agricultural communities started producing emergency food supplies. Manufacturing facilities retooled themselves for defense production overnight. Every sector of human society became part of a massive organic resistance mechanism. The aliens discovered something profound. Humans didn't just fight with weapons. They fought with stories, with humor, with an inexplicable belief in collective possibility. Propaganda broadcasts intended to demoralize became inspiration. Threats became challenges. Mathematical models of defeat became opportunities for reimagining survival. J. Park understood something fundamental. This wasn't just a military conflict. This was a conflict of fundamental worldviews. The aliens saw the universe as a mathematical equation. Humans saw it as an ongoing story of adaptation and hope. In community centers, schools, and local gatherings, people shared survival strategies. Old survival skills became new defense mechanisms. Camping techniques transformed into wilderness survival strategies. Cooking skills became emergency resource management. The alien psychological warfare team made another critical error. They targeted populations separately. They didn't understand that humans, when challenged, didn't fracture. They united. Global communication networks, instead of showing division, demonstrated unprecedented cooperation. Language barriers disappeared. Cultural differences became strengths. Every alien attempt to create psychological division backfired spectacularly. Hyun Lee's research team discovered something remarkable. Human creativity wasn't just a skill, It was a survival mechanism. Every psychological attack was being transformed into a learning opportunity. Corial Vex reviewed the latest psychological impact reports with growing concern. The mathematical models were failing. The predictive algorithms were collapsing. Humans weren't just resisting. They were rewriting the entire concept of resistance. As the psychological warfare intensified, something became clear. The aliens weren't just fighting a military conflict. They were encountering a species that transformed challenges into opportunities, fear into creativity, and potential defeat into a collective story of survival. The human spirit, it seemed, was the most advanced technology the universe had yet encountered, and it couldn't be calculated, controlled, or conquered. The research facility buzzed with an energy that felt almost electric. Hyun-Lee stood before a massive holographic display, her eyes reflecting lines of complex code and rapidly changing schematics. Around her, scientists from every conceivable discipline worked with an intensity that bordered on controlled chaos. Alien technology had always been considered centuries ahead of human capabilities. That belief was about to change dramatically. Within days of the initial invasion, human technological adaptation reached unprecedented levels. What the aliens saw as fixed technological limitations, humans saw as temporary challenges to be solved. In Silicon Valley, software engineers worked continuous shifts. Their new mission wasn't just about creating code. It was about developing adaptive algorithms that could predict and counter alien technological systems. Every alien attack became a learning opportunity. Every piece of captured technology a potential breakthrough. J. Park watched the technological transformation with quiet amazement. Military research facilities that once took years to develop, new technologies were now producing revolutionary designs in hours. The entire planet had become one massive interconnected research laboratory. Satellite networks originally designed for communication and weather monitoring were rapidly reconfigured into advanced tracking and defense systems. Agricultural sensors became sophisticated monitoring platforms. Consumer electronics transformed into complex communication networks. The alien technological superiority began to crack. Sung Kim discovered something remarkable. Human technology wasn't about having the most advanced single system. It was about creating adaptive, interconnected networks that could rapidly evolve. Where alien technology was precise and rigid, human technology became fluid and dynamic. Underwater research facilities, marine engineers developed technologies that could adapt to changing environmental conditions. Submarine design teams created vessels that could change their molecular structure in response to external threats. What seemed like science fiction became practical reality in weeks. Elena Rodriguez coordinated global research efforts. Universities that were once competitive now shared information at unprecedented speeds. Scientific barriers dissolved. Researchers from different disciplines collaborated in ways that defied traditional academic boundaries. Alien surveillance systems discovered something terrifying. Human technological development wasn't linear, it was exponential. Each technological challenge became an opportunity for radical innovation. Quantum computing centers that were once theoretical research projects became practical defense platforms. Artificial intelligence systems designed for academic research were rapidly adapted into complex strategic planning tools. Machine learning algorithms developed defense strategies faster than alien tactical computers could process. Corial Vex reviewed technological reports with increasing concern. The mathematical models of human technological capacity were completely incorrect. Humans weren't just developing technology, they were reimagining the entire concept of technological development. Nanotechnology research centers developed molecular-level defense systems. Medical research facilities transformed their understanding of human biology into adaptive defense mechanisms. What the aliens saw as separate technological domains, humans saw as interconnected opportunities. In automotive manufacturing plants, production lines were transformed overnight. Electric vehicle batteries became portable power sources for defense systems. Advanced materials research created lightweight, adaptive armor technologies. Car factories became unexpected technological innovation centers. The aliens had expected to find a technologically inferior species. Instead, they encountered a civilization that could transform any resource into a potential technological solution. Space research facilities that were once focused on distant planetary exploration now developed advanced propulsion and defensive technologies. Telescopes became tracking systems. Communication satellites became complex sensor networks. Human technological revolution wasn't just about creating new technologies. It was about reimagining what technology could be. Hyun Lee's team developed an adaptive artificial intelligence system that could learn and respond to alien technological attacks in real time. Traditional computer programming gave way to dynamic, self-evolving systems that could predict and counter technological threats before they emerged. As days passed, the technological gap between humans and aliens didn't just narrow, it began to reverse. What the Intergalactic Council saw as a simple planetary invasion became a profound technological challenge. The humans weren't just defending, they were evolving. And technology in their hands became something far more than a tool. It became a living, breathing expression of human creativity and resilience. The technological revolution had begun, and nothing would ever be the same. The Intergalactic Council chamber fell silent. Holographic displays flickered with data that defied every known mathematical model of invasion and conquest. Coriol Vex stood at the central platform, presenting a report that would change galactic understanding forever. Humans had done the impossible. Representatives from 1,000 different civilizations watched with a mixture of horror and fascination. The invasion of Earth, what was supposed to be a simple resource acquisition, had become something entirely unexpected. They have no surrender protocol, Coriol Vex stated, his voice carrying a tone of complete bewilderment. The words hung in the air like a profound revelation. J. Park's image appeared on the central holographic display. He wasn't triumphant. He wasn't angry. He was simply present. A calm representation of an entire species that had redefined the concept of resistance. The Council's historical records showed countless civilizations that had fallen within hours or days of invasion. Humans had not only resisted but had transformed the entire concept of conflict. They didn't just fight. They evolved. Elena Rodriguez had prepared a comprehensive report. It wasn't a military document. It was a study of human psychological and technological adaptation. Each page demonstrated how humans transformed challenges into opportunities. Sung Kim's strategic analysis revealed something even more profound. Human resistance wasn't about winning a traditional war. It was about continuously changing the definition of the conflict itself. The alien delegates discovered a terrifying truth. Humans viewed conflict not as a potential loss, but as a continuous opportunity for growth and transformation. Hyun Lee's technological research showed how quickly humans could adapt. Manufacturing facilities became research centers. Consumer technologies became defensive systems. Every resource became a potential solution. The Intergalactic Council's oldest members began to understand. This wasn't just about one planet. This was about encountering a species that fundamentally challenged existing understanding of technological and cultural development. Global communication networks had transformed the entire human response. What might have been isolated resistance became a planetary, interconnected defense mechanism. Social media platforms became strategic communication networks. Local communities became adaptive defense units. Coriol Vex presented the final recommendation. It wasn't a surrender demand. It was a diplomatic proposal, something unprecedented in the Council's history. Humans are not a conquest target, the report concluded. Humans are a potential collaborative species. The implications were massive. Instead of a simple planetary invasion, the Intergalactic Council now faced the possibility of a completely new type of galactic interaction. Agricultural communities had shown remarkable resilience. Manufacturing centers had demonstrated unprecedented adaptability. Every sector of human society had transformed into a potential defensive and creative mechanism. The Council's mathematical models collapsed. Their predictive algorithms became useless. Humans had done something no previous civilization had achieved. They had turned an invasion into an opportunity for collective growth. J. Park's final communication was simple and direct. "We are open to dialogue," he said, "but we define the terms of that dialogue." The words carried a profound message. Humans weren't asking for permission. They were stating a fundamental truth about their existence. Scientific research facilities that were once competitive now shared information at unprecedented speeds. Universities became global innovation centers. Every challenge became an opportunity for collective problem-solving. The Intergalactic Council realized they weren't just facing a military challenge. They were encountering a species that viewed existence itself as a continuous process of adaptation and growth. Technological development wasn't linear for humans. It was exponential. Biological limitations weren't barriers. They were challenges to be overcome. Cultural differences weren't divisions. They were opportunities for collaboration. As the council session concluded, something fundamental had changed. The universe would never be the same. Humans had not just survived an invasion. They had redefined the entire concept of galactic interaction, and they were just getting started.